What's up, you Sith heads? I'm Eric the Dadalorian, and welcome to another episode of Sith Happens. I am joined, by always, by the scruffiest of the nerf herders, the guy who thinks the criminal underworld is a pleasant place. His ideal date involves Jabba the Hutt and Carbonite. His name is Matty Ice.
I think of myself as the Han to your Solo. Hi, I am Matty Ice, otherwise known as Black Series Daily Desk over on Instagram, welcoming you to, what is this now, our 5th episode? We're
It's
really
our
doing
sixth,
it.
actually, man.
6th? Oh, man,
Dude.
we are actually doing it.
Yeah,
What the
it feels
sixth?
like it was just yesterday that we were really just talking about this, and we were trying to figure out how to get this all going. And now here we are, 6 episodes in, basically doing one a week now.
It's amazing. And I mean, hey, you've got a microphone and a headset now. I've got a ring light in front of me that's new. Everybody, I'm sorry I look like this. And and we sound better, I think. So yeah, we're everybody stick around. It only gets better as Eric and I become more machine than man.
Fair, man. So now, man, I gotta start it off. So, like, personally, I had a fantastic week, not just in the Star Wars that we got, both the Bad Batch and the trailer for Tales of the Empire, which we're gonna both get into both of those. But I also had a great week for a couple other reasons, which was going to be getting into our collector's corner. I got a couple new action figures I'm going to show off.
Same.
I can't wait, man, because there were some ones I was really looking after. And then also I got picked for this raffle thing on Instagram that I'm going to kind of shout out at the end, man. So, but no, man, I'm super excited to talk about Bad Batch this week. I thought it was a good episode. So, what do you say we jump right into it, homie?
Let's jump right in. But first, I think I need to be acknowledged that the thing that had you win that raffle was tagging me in the raffle. So everybody knows that we're actually friends in real life, and I help Eric get things. So just want to make that clear. But with that, let's batch, brother.
Batch it up, man. So now, this, for everybody at home, this is your spoiler warning alert. If you have not watched Bad Batch or really any Star Wars, this is probably not going to be something that you want to watch right now. Get back in there and watch everything Star Wars. That means all seasons of Clone Wars, Bad Batch, and every single movie. That's going to take you a while, so you might not come see us for a little bit. But
yeah, I would also say, just all the Star Wars books, comics. Literally pick it.
we talk it all, bro.
Yeah, we want you to listen. Please listen, but just know you may either get confused and or spoiled. So, yeah.
Absolutely, man. So now, so this week we had Bad Batch episode 12 titled Juggernaut. Now I'm going to go ahead and give my typical little breakdown like I typically do. So the episode opens up to the operative landing at Mount Tantus, greeted by Dr. Hemlock, who brings her to Dr. Carr for testing. The Bad Batch is working out how to find Omega, and Crosshair reveals that Admiral Rampart may know where Tantus is. We get to see him again. Now, Fee gets them into the Imperial labor camp on Erebus, where Rampart is held. The group boards the turbo tank Rampart is being transported on, where Crosshair seems to be getting some of his sharpshooter abilities back. Fee manages to rescue the Batch from plummeting to their demise and secures Rampart, who reveals it's complicated attempting to get to Tantus. Omega's blood gets tested by Dr. Carr, confirming that her M count results are valid, and brings Omega to the vault, leaving her in her ominous new home, as he would call it. So we had a change up and went to a single episode this week. I know we've been getting spoiled with the doubles.
Don't worry, I have a lot to talk about. I took notes because I watched it twice. So
yeah,
might still do the same link.
There was a lot in this episode, I thought, and I'm going to say the first thing that actually surprised me, I did not think we were going to see Rampart again. I did not think so.
I didn't either. And when I read the description, when I put it on this morning, and it said, like, I think it's, what you said, like, they'd help from somebody else. I was like, Sid's back. I hope she dies. Like, I don't even want her to have a redemption arc. I just want her to have a come up in arc. Yeah. Or I want, like, her to just, like, something to happen. Like, she looked like she felt bad last season. I want something to happen where, like...
Good. She should feel bad. Screw her.
Yeah, totally. She's a monster. I take Bossk as a Trandoshan over her any day. I'll take Bossk over any Trandoshan.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, he's the best, especially in the comics. Can't recommend the Bounty Hunters comic enough. But, yeah, I mean, like, even if she got some kind of redemption arc, like, she's got to die. Like, I feel like she's got to pay the price. Like, she totally screwed them. You knew it was coming that whole season. It was telegraphed. But, you know, it's, yeah. Fuck Sid.
Given the way this season's going, I don't think we're gonna see her again. To be honest with you, because we're so far in, we only got a couple episodes left.
3.
Realistically,
That's my debunk. Remember, we were trying to figure it out. 3
mm-hmm.
episodes left.
Dude,
Closing on May 1st, which we'll do that podcast pre-May the 4th. We'll make that a special one.
Yes, that's going to be a good one, man. So, so with this episode though, man, so Rampart coming back. So firstly, they just gulagged his ass, bro. Like
Good.
Imperial labor camp, which is good. Yeah, screw that guy. Because honestly, I don't even care if that dude gets a redemption arc, because that dude don't deserve one.
He's not getting a redemption arc. He's gonna do something for his survival, and then he's got to die doing something scummy. And like honestly, it was such a weird poetic justice with him last season, right? Because essentially they had gotten what they needed for the clones, and the Emperor was like, I don't give a shit. Like, we'll just give him the money. Then when they showed who Rampart really was, not only did the Emperor disown Rampart, who deserved it, but that makes him like indirectly the cause for the clones not getting human rights. So like, I'm just like, and you know what? He doesn't get a Callus arc. He doesn't, and he doesn't deserve it. There's not enough time. I think he's going to do something. He's going to do something to help them out of necessity, and in the process, either get killed trying to screw them over, or like pretty much that. Like that's what I think is going to happen. Or he's going to do something to them that requires them to kill him. Like he's not making it. Like, and I'm fine with that, and I look very forward to it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because I didn't like that guy from the start, and when he kind of got his ass thrown to the fire in the last season, I was like, yeah.
But then they screwed over the clones. That's what I'm saying. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then I was like, fuck.
That's the Emperor for you, man.
He's
that's
schemer.
Palpatine.
That guy's a schemer. Yeah. Papa
Palp's gonna get you.
You ever see that Robot Chicken? Go for Papa Palps.
Oh my god, dude!
One of the best.
We could do a whole show on that right there.
We could probably act that out.
I have that whole thing memorized. But
if we're ever out of material, we'll do it.
We will. But no, so like getting into where they get into the plant and everything like that was like kind of pretty great in and of itself. But the turbo tank scene, man, listen, like you and me as Star Wars collectors, right, bro? I need a new turbo tank toy, a turbo tank toy,
turbo tank Tonka toy,
Tonka toy.
Yeah. I mean, you're a collector of everything. I'm Black Series, so I would love that, but it would be like the size of my ottoman. I'll take it.
Full send.
Yeah, one of my buddies gets. He has a customizer that makes some vehicles roughly in scale. So like he's in scale X-wing and in scale AT-ST, and I'm like, dude, he has a storage unit. I'm like, why even have these things? But yeah, I mean, listen, if there is a turbo tank for Black Series, I may risk my marriage. Who knows? I'd take a Millennium Falcon cockpit any day over that though, on a HasLab. But I get too far. The turbo tank thing. First of all, can I just say about this episode, I had so much fun watching it. I mean,
it was good. It was fucking great.
Hard in my throat still like we talk about every week, because you really don't know who's going to make it out, right? But this was a palate cleanser. It was the Star Wars flavored sorbet we needed coming out of the last week's like heaviness, and it was just so cool. And the stuff with the tanks, Mad Max style, the ramping up over the tank.
That's such a good comparison. I didn't even think of that.
So cool with that battle. And it also took me back, like, I'm also like a G.I. Joe fan. I know it's not for this podcast. I won't get too deep. But I remember watching Clone Wars when I first picked it up, like on Netflix. It was like maybe 5 seasons in, or like getting to the 6th season. And I remember thinking, why can't anybody just do G.I. Joe right? And this is another example of that, because I don't know if you played with the G.I. Joe toys. I don't know. I think we're different in age, but like in the mid-'80s, like late 80s.
I did a little bit. I was born 89, so like I caught the tail end of it, really.
Yeah. Oh, you caught the Neon era. But so basically all their vehicles have these like missile launchers on the side, and like it was so badass. And like this also like echoes that little kid in me. This echoes that little kid in me that's like, oh, you've got this vehicle with these missiles and these guns, and they're in this battle and they're using it. And it was just like, the part of me that gets glee out of that, and like an 80s toy kid, like really, I loved it. And like, I even, in one of my many notes, wanted to say to you, even the scene, the chase on the cliff after that, the way the action was done in this episode, like we had that awesome sharp fight scene that was a little larger than life. Jackie Chan meets jujitsu with Asajj
Mhm. Oh
2
yeah.
weeks ago. That action sequence, the way that it was done and blocked, digitally or virtually, whatever you want to call it, CGI-ly, it felt like the beats, the movement, the camera work, which I want to talk about also in this episode.
Mhm.
It felt like you were watching a live action scene.
I was gonna say the exact same thing because, like, it's animation, you realize it is, but the animation itself has become so good that it is like they were shooting a live action movie.
And I think the thing about the animation that you can always tell when they did mocap at the end of Clone Wars, that was one of the first fights. You knew it was mocap before they announced it when you're watching the episode because there's weight behind the hits.
Yeah.
There's a weight to it that only human beings can bring. There was no mocap, but there was like a physical weight to everything that was going on. From the missile thing with the truck ramp, it just felt like it existed, like it was filmed. And I think that made it more fun and extra special.
Yeah, it was great, honestly. I thought it was great. Firstly, the turbo tanks is one of the vehicles we really haven't seen too much of from the Clone
Just Rogue
Wars
One,
era.
I think, right?
What's that?
Was that what they were transporting Jinin and Rogue One?
Yeah, so it was like it was still around, but like we don't see a lot of it like getting actual action and everything, minus like a few scenes here and there.
Yeah.
So like seeing it get like this really big action sequence was really dope because it's got the rocket launchers, the turrets, like this thing's absolute beast, and like seeing them freaking just yeet this son of a gun off of another turbo tank, I was like, this is awesome.
I couldn't believe it was awesome. And then when I was watching it earlier tonight, I watched it first thing this morning with my dog, like I want to do when I can. And then I watched it again with my wife. Normally when we do this, I've watched the episode 15 minutes before, which is why I have notes now because I watched it a second time. But even like when my wife and I were watching it, she was just like, this is cool. Like this is like a delightful action sequence that's got gravitas to it. And like, I think we're just going to talk about the episode out of order, but I do want to say when a Fee ship got too far away, I was like, oh my God, is Wrecker going to die? I said it in my head. My wife said it out loud. And this is it, man. There's 3 episodes, and they've got to have, I think, in the next episode. I really think somebody's going to die next episode. Whether it's Fee, Wrecker, someone, they bring back maybe Echo. Somebody's got to die because there's only 2 episodes after, and that's where the stakes, have already been set, but, we need the stakes are sizzling. We got to get to the meat, and they've got to kind of show you truly nobody's safe like they did with Tech last season.
Yeah, I do think we aren't going to see Fee die. I think it's going to be. I think they're going to focus more on the batch because we know something's going to happen with them. We don't really know what that is yet. Probably going to die somehow. But it's gonna be hard these next few episodes. There's no question about that.
I was thinking last night before bed, musing as I want to do. What order will they die in? And I've got my order.
I don't want to think about it. Don't want to think about it.
I think Wrecker first, because that just is a gut punch. He's so childlike.
Yeah.
Crosshairs gets his redemption, save somebody die. And then I think Hunter goes out kind of in a blaze of glory, saving Omega. That's my order. It's like a curtain call.
I mostly agree with that, except for I think maybe Hunter and Crosshair might swap and Crosshair goes out in that blaze of glory, saving Omega.
I think that might be true. I think you might be right.
I got a feeling, just the way that we've seen his arc over this season, I think that's what we're gonna see.
Yeah.
But realistically,
we don't know. Maybe he dies saving Omega and then Hunter dies in another way. Maybe Hunter and Omega make it. Fuck it. What if Hunter makes it? You were all just speculating Omega makes it. And if anything that this season has showed us is that they are not going with what you expected. They got to the batch way sooner. The trajectory, what they did with Asajj was not expected after you saw her in the trailer. What is it? Clone X2. I mess that name up every time. CX2. Agent X. Clone X. We all know who I'm talking about. Clone X2. I think it's X2. Like, even with him, we don't know what that's going to be. And I think it may be weirder than we think in that tech. So, like, I'm optimistic. I'm sadly optimistic that most of the characters are going to die. But I'm optimistic that it may not be who we think or how it goes down.
I'm at the point now where I'm just trying not to think about it too much because I feel like the more I do, I'm going to drive myself crazy because it's a different scheme every time, bro. So
No, for real. Well, I always say it's the Marak effect from
yeah,
Ahsoka, where everybody had. We got something to talk about him later, though. Where
yes,
everybody had their guests. I love the idea that he was Galen Marek, just how they're doing him in canon. Everybody had a
mm.
guess, and guess who he was? An effing ghost. So, like,
It was a green fart, is what he was.
yeah, and I think that honestly, that's a problem with all fans, including me and you, that we love Star Wars so much, we speculate, and
Yeah,
unfortunately, I think most of our speculation is rooted in what we would write, which is like fan fiction, right? So then
yeah,
when our expectations are not met, we're disappointed. So you're right. I need to stop thinking about it because I wasn't disappointed in the Morocco thing, but I was a little like green fart. So yeah,
yeah.
no, I get you. No, but I also wanted to talk to you about outside of that action thing and how it looked. The shots on Tantus, like camera shots. Oh my God, were they beautiful? I mean,
Dude,
somebody who loves
looks amazing. Like details in that were pristine.
yeah, and the lighting in it, like as someone who like is obsessed with like Blade Runner 2049 and the new Dune, and I was a film major, don't know if I ever told you that, and like love cinematography. There is some cinematography going on in this that I think is different than the way they did the other cartoons. Like they're really
Absolutely.
going all out this season, and I vacillate between why didn't they do this in the previous seasons with well, they needed to get us here. And I didn't dislike
Yeah.
anything in the previous seasons. Even the Broken Horn guy, I hated his episode. I just thought it's probably the only episode I didn't like. I feel like it came way too late in season one. But then when they brought him back this season, I was like, you know what? Maybe that episode ain't so bad. But yeah,
Pieced it together.
it's all coming together. Um, I don't know if we want to do, because every week I gush about Crosshair. Do I just do like my moment of Crosshair when we do this?
You know what? Let's do it because I was going to tell you his scenes in that were just ridiculous,
The ricochet without the
dude.
mirrors. Oh my God.
Dude, he's coming back. That's like he's not quite the crosshair that he was before, but he is getting those abilities back somewhat. And I think it is to do with partially what Omega was
Yes.
teaching him. And then another part of that is he is so hell bent on getting Omega back now, like maybe more so than Hunter and Wrecker even are, that
I think
he
he
is
is.
like, I will do whatever it takes to get her back.
She's the only person that ever looked past everything in him into like you're my
Yeah.
brother. So I do agree with that. And I will say we may be getting Crosshair's back, but he's a little different. But Crosshair may just becoming the Crosshair he was always meant to be.
Yeah.
Because they've all gotten a little more of their personality and their humanness, human nature throughout the series. So maybe this is kind of who he was. And
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you it's really funny because I'm a Blaster guy.
Hmm.
And all my photos. Everybody go to Black Series Daily Desk on Instagram to look at my figure photos. All of my photos, like I have my own I have my own head canon. I don't really care. And I always liked the way that the gun the toy had looked without the front barrel piece. But I was like, oh, well, how would it shoot? And then he had it without that this episode as
Yeah.
like a
I noticed
CQB
that.
weapon. And I loved it because I was like, oh, right. It's just like a silencer and a barrel. Like, I thought that was really badass because I'm just a blaster nerd and I love my Crosshairs figures. So it was pretty pumped about that. I
No,
have a good,
I was
I
gonna
have a
say
good,
it was really cool how they did that.
yeah, no, it's fun. It's like they're really giving you all little different nuances and like how their equipment works. And it's cool. Like they're really you're really like, they want you to miss this when it's over, which I think is great.
It's gonna be a like it's one of those things, man. Like where last season, I think it was slower than we have had in the past. So I think it was like maybe not quite as loved as maybe some of the other shows, but like this, like the way that this season is hitting, it's like, oh my god, dude,
It's a
this now,
masterclass.
yeah, like this is among the top tier in animation for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Last crosshair thing. I had a thought because he's the only one that doesn't have like newly decorated armor.
Hmm.
What if in the final mission he kind of steps out of whatever ship they're on? R.I.P. the Marauder. He steps out of whatever. It's like the
R.I.P.
Razor
baby.
Crest. Yeah, like a character dying. What if he steps out of whatever ship that is and they go on that mission and he's got his armor like redecoed and it's something that harkens back to Mayday or something with the
Mm.
clones or I think that'd be cool. I'm good if it doesn't happen. I think it may be a little cheesy again, fan canon heading. But yeah, like I think that's for me. Yeah, that would be
I think it
badass.
would be. I think it would be cool to see something like that. I personally, I thought Batch's original armor, that black and red, was so shit hot. That's why you see me sporting the colors right now.
Oh yeah, buddy.
So, but no, I think it'd be cool to see something like that. Seeing
Yeah.
him getting his abilities back is amazing, though. You know, the ricochet shots were just shit hot, honestly.
Yeah, I think if he does have a Blaze of Glory scene, you're gonna get that in a way where like you think he's like shaky, and then like he channels the
Yeah,
rotation of Omega, and that's kind of what he does. And I think when he dies, you're gonna get to see a bird flying overhead. You just got to do that at this point,
yeah,
to harken back. But yeah, and I also the M count stuff, Project Necromancer. Again, what I said to you last week, we know kind of what it is. Just tell us fully what it is. But I love again that it's connecting to Rise of Skywalker. It gave me some thoughts about Rise of Skywalker. You got the gist, like the Emperor, decays. That you kind of get that. I was thinking about people that hate it, and I'm like, the only people that should have been annoyed by it are people that didn't read Legends, because they're just doing Dark Empire. But anyway, like, it also made me think it was funny that like Snoke seemed so powerful, and he was obviously just like the Emperor's puppet with the Force in him, like slowly degrading.
yeah.
And I was like, how did he get so powerful? Is it because he's tall? Like, he has all this longer power, more M count when you're taller, more blood.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my thing there. I think that they've given us enough of Necromancer. I know you don't read the comics, but if you ever get to the Darth Vader books, they explain Exegol really well. But it's kind
I've
of like,
seen that in the recent ones come out, and I'm actually like, I am definitely interested in getting into them now after seeing about that.
yeah, and I think that it essentially just like it's giving you enough of Necromancer right now, and I feel like we're gonna get a full answer in this show about like, but we kind of know the answer. So like, I'm almost like, am I tricking myself every time they're like, let me tell you about this experiment? Where I'm like, here we go, and then I'm like, I kind of already knew that. But
Yeah.
so maybe for younger fans and other people though, like they don't. But again, like nobody. Again, that's why this is a spoiler show. We read so much stuff.
Yeah. No, that's just no, for sure, man. There's a lot within that is within Legends and then other parts of canon. So it's kind of weird the way it's gonna go. I think where I don't think they'll directly say what Project Necromancer is. I think it's one of those things that they're gonna try to have you piece together.
Yeah, no, totally. Oh, by the way, I got a debunk for next week that you and I are both going to have to participate in.
Oh God.
When they escape the planet, when Wrecker gets on the ship after we were all like, is he going to make it? There is a music movement that gets played. And it's from the end of a sequence where the rebels were victorious or escaping, or the Republic.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's like a da 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 da, and like it's like this, like that. I can't remember if it was in Phantom Menace or in one of the OT, but like I think we should just go, you and I, and look at just the last clips of some battles where they transition out. I need to also. Don't listen to it in the episode, and you may just know. But we both have to debunk or figure it out.
Because I watched the episode with just one headphone in today, so I might not have noticed it. But I'm big on music scores, especially within Star Wars, because some of them just hit so heavily. So I'm gonna need to go back and really check that out.
I rewound it twice, and then there was one guess I had, but I'm not going to tell you because I wasn't right.
Let me. I
wasn't right, but like you and I both try to figure it out next week, and I don't think this needs to be debunked. It is it. We just need to figure out what movie.
Fair enough.
Cool.
So but yeah, so episode ends with them getting Dr. Rampart out of there, and then Omega getting brought in with the other M count kids. Like, it really had Admiral Rampart trying some shady shit, man. Like, I think we should have known it. I don't know. I thought he was just gonna kind of be a punk bitch about it, I guess, so to say. But
he's pulling a Fennec. He's pulling a Fennec. So he doesn't want them to just take him back. I'm sure, like I said, he's going to try to escape or do something that fucks them up while it's working. While they're going to get the information out of it somehow, because we just don't have time for them not to. Yeah. That's not how this season is rolling either. Like, each episode goes in, but I think he's going to try to do something to screw them over to make sure he gets his freedom. And like, even if it's something where it's like death by his own hand, he tries to screw them over and results in him getting hit by a box. I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, and like again, the Project Necromancer thing at the end. It's like I get it. I get it.
Yeah. It was a good episode, though, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. Another one of those episodes where it had the feel of typical Bad Batch, or kind of that side mission leading to the main quest thing. But overall, really enjoyed it.
What's your score?
All right, so score for myself for this week, we are going to go with I think everything all together with the Project Necromancer stuff, bring a Rampart back, and all the good action sequence. 8.5.
8.5, 8.75 for me too. I thought agreeing with all your points, but I also like the Asajj Ventress episode was like a 10, and it was great.
That was top
But
tier.
but I'm saying, but that had a lot of like heart in your throat, like what's going to happen, like badassery. This was just fun. I had so
Yeah.
much fun watching it. I watched it twice. I'm going to watch it again. It was just such a fun, sort of self-contained, not contained, self-contained episode. So yeah, I think I'm with you. 8.5 or even like maybe an 8.75 for me. I'm not trying
Yeah.
to one up you. I know that always seems to happen.
Yeah,
But
you
yeah,
seem to do that on the reg, so I'm just kind of grown used to it.
yeah, I'm a real gundark. Anyway.
But anyways, man, so in addition to the great episode of Bad Batch we had this week, last week, it was actually right after we shot our episode, we got spoiled with a little bit of a surprise, no?
It's so crazy. And like one of my friends sent it to me, and he has a really bad habit of sending me things that are like fan made trailers. I'm like, how did you not know this was like deep faked into this? But yeah, who knew? And May the 4th? Oh, I'm having a big party here. That's a part of it.
There was no indication about this. And so, so for those of you who don't know what we're talking about the Tales of the Empire trailer getting dropped last week. So this is going to kind of be like a follow-up to the Tales of the Jedi show that got released last year. It's a short mini-series animation series. Tales of the Jedi focused on Count Dooku in his early years and his fall to the dark side, as well as Ahsoka kind of coming up into the Jedi Order and a little bit after. So with this one, Tales of the Empire, it's going to be focusing, it appears, on Morgan Elsbeth's story, which I'm so happy about that because I loved her character. That was a character I begged for more. Like, one, I wanted the backstory, which thank God we're getting, and then two, I really wish we could have seen more of her after with the Ahsoka, where she might have survived or something like that. But I'm at least happy that we are getting her in in this Tales of the Empire now. And then the second one, go ahead.
No, because I was going to segue you. No, I was going to say I was so excited to see her in Thrawn.
Yes.
Right? And I was like, how could this get better? And then it got better because what's the second one about, my friend?
The second one. So why don't you lead it first, man? I'm talking
Barriss. I always talk too much. I appreciate you talking more. I'm trying to not do my thing, but anyway, Barriss, dude. I mean, there's been so much speculation. Who is she? Where'd she line up? Is she this? To have her becoming an Inquisitor, to look at what that training process, and then again connecting to Tales of the Jedi. You see her and two other Inquisitors bow at the end, and it's Marok. There we go. Let's see who he really was. I don't think we'll get that much. But then two, it's that guy that Ahsoka killed in Tales of the Jedi that connects it.
Yes,
and that guy, I think.
What was it? 10th brother, I think, or something like that.
There's a lot of controversy.
Oh God.
So in her book, the Ahsoka book, she kills the sixth brother, who's like a really big coward. And like when you read the comics, he does a bunch of janky stuff and not necessarily a very good fighter. She kills him very deftly, and then she purifies his crystals back. And that's why they're white, because they're cleaned, right? That's not how he looks. And he's a very different character than the character that was in Tales of the Jedi. So I think it's supposed to be sixth brother, we think. If it isn't, then they retcon canon, which makes people mad. And if it is, then people are mad that it's like almost like a totally different character. But with that said, great to see him, and I love the way they did him in Tales of the Jedi. And Barriss's arc, so good.
Yeah, I am excited to see like that particular arc. I'm excited about because one, we get to see what the hell happens with Barriss, because that kind of got left to speculation realistically, and two, we see how the Inquisitors become who they are. Like, we've seen those of you who played Jedi Fallen Order, kind of like what the Inquisitor training facility and stuff is like, but the indoctrination into that has not really been explored in the main Star Wars line. I'm not sure if it's in the books and stuff yet.
In the comics, you get in the Darth Vader, the second run of Darth Vader, you get the Grand Inquisitor and the Inquisitors, but they're like fully trained when they meet him, and none of the Inquisitors in that trailer are there, nor is second sister, because I think that came a little after. Yes. So you get the idea that there's been multiple rounds of this. So yeah.
I think it's cool that we do get some of the ones that we had seen before. So we do get Fourth Sister back, who was in the Kenobi series. For those of you who weren't aware of that, and it is interesting because it looks like we see a different side of these Inquisitors because it's they realize Barriss is not the Jedi anymore, and it's almost like they show her. I don't want to say favoritism, but like, when they're trying to convert the Jedi, they're basically just beating them into submission. They're not treating her great by any means, but they're like, this is a path that you can take.
Well, she's already kind of taken it, I think, and
Yeah,
that's why. She's easy, you know what I mean, for this. But yeah, no, and I love the fourth sister element of it all too, because, I think she was in one of the comics, and then she was in Kenobi, and you never really got a good idea of her. So I'm hoping we get a little bit more with this one. It just, what a nice surprise. And I was like,
dude,
giddy,
seriously.
like, you knew something was coming May the 4th, and the fact that there's no celebration this year, like, we know we're not going to get all the usual announcements, but I think it could be fun because we might get some more treats this year that we weren't aware of that are just like, this is awesome.
Fingers crossed, man. I'm hoping we get some more announcements here soon, but I was very pleasantly surprised with this because I did not think I didn't expect it, and I do think that with the success of Tales of the Jedi and what I can assume is going to be a success of Tales of the Empire, I'm thinking maybe like once a year they might do these animated shorts like this where it runs a couple episodes and kind of gives us that deeper backstory on some of these characters that we really wanted. So I'm all for it, bro.
I would love Tales of the Underworld and them to layer in some characters like Lando and Han from like their days between Solo and A New Hope, or Empire in Lando's case. Like, I think that would be really cool. And Underworld, I think, is what spawned one of the shows, because remember he was going to do Underworld, like a live action crime show for Star Wars Lucas, and it never panned out. And I think that was the inspiration. I'm not even going to say what I think it's for, because if I debunk it, I was probably wrong, and I'm arrogant. But so I think that'd be really cool. And also the Morgan thing is great. It's funny because I was just so excited. I was just so excited for Barriss. Seeing Thrawn and Morgan, and that's going to be great. And them like really tying back that she was at the Battle of Dathomir, or more like the genocide of Dathomir. Mm-hmm. That's really going to be cool too. Like, I think that we're going to have a lot to talk about after that airs.
Yeah, no doubt. Like it looks like that animation, like we were just talking about with Bad Batch, where it is just so sharp compared to what it has been in the past. So
and it was sharper. Sharper when they did Tales of the Jedi than before. They just keep getting better.
They do. Like I'm not sure how they make these things, to tell you the truth. I just know the way that they're going, they're doing a great fucking job.
Yeah. Computers. They make them with computers. It's kind of like, I know that an engine is a combustion engine in a car, so I know something ignites, but that's all I got for you. But yeah, computers.
Yeah. So, anyways, man. So, we are curious to see what you guys think about it as well, though. So, kind of give us your thoughts down below on what you think we can expect to see, and maybe some of your expectations with the Tales of the Empire coming out, because we're curious to get your input as well. So, but going into our new segment here that we've done a little bit now, man. We got our Collector's Corner.
Oh yeah. You want to go first? You were so excited today.
I you know what? I'll go second because I went first last time, but I am really excited because I was looking for the one that I got a lot.
You go first. Okay. So I got this week. It's fun when we do this because Eric is not an opener, and I am. Opener means keeping in package, and an opener doesn't keep in package, and a non-opener does. There's no wrong way to collect. I can't tell anybody that enough. It's how you enjoy them. It's your money. But this week, surprisingly, I didn't check my Amazon, like what was shipping. I got Padme from Phantom Menace, and I got Anakin.
Are you an angel?
Yes. No one can kill a Jedi.
No one can kill a Jedi.
Ends up medium I stole that from. But yeah. I didn't think I could be this excited for these guys because they're not like, I love Padme, I love the young Anakin, but like, I'm always going to go for more of a battle ready. In Padme's case, she is. I'm delighted. I think that the pictures that they took of them, the promo photos, some of them were maybe like mock-ups, like previs. Yeah. The faces look dead on. Amazing face scans. When you get yours, you're going to see. And what I love, again, Blaster Guy on Padme is she's got the, let me see if I get this close. She's got the speed blaster. She's nice. Swappable hands. So one has her like, little Art Deco blaster,
Yeah.
and then this one has the Theed one, and I'm a big Panaka fan, and I love
Mhm.
those blasters that the guards had. So it's just like a really nice little like two pieces that I feel like any Star Wars toy I get excited to get, but these were better because I didn't realize I was getting them this week because I hadn't been checking pre-orders. So yeah,
Dude,
really fun.
Black Series has gotten a lot better. For those of you who aren't aware, there'd been like back over the last like 3 or 4 years, there'd been some really shitty times trying to collect these toys just because of COVID, shipping stuff, and everything like that. There was a point where like some of the ones that right now that are like very readily available, there was a point where you couldn't find them worth a damn, and it was pretty crazy trying to collect. So. But we're in better times now.
Pipeline is fixed.
Yes,
don't let anybody tell you figures being available is the death of the line. Figures being available is a good thing.
Yes,
for everybody. All right, so
so
give me yours. I know yours, but I'm like excited. I'm excited.
So
it's like a dad seeing his kids open a present on Christmas. I'm excited to see you talk about yours.
So right after Yak Face, which I'll tag down in the comments or in our description below, posted up about the Walmart shipping coming out, I was like, oh shit, man, I gotta go because like I seldom walk the aisle of Walmart. I usually just go straight to the section in Walmart where they keep them and everything. So I was like, all right, go back the next day, just make sure I didn't miss it. Well, turns out I got there right in time because I just unwrapped that son of a gun and I got this.
That is an amazing figure. I love that figure.
So good, dude. Like, I got several Mandalorian figures, and honestly, I was like so excited to get this one because it's it just looks good, and it's him with the Darksaber. And the only two that we'll see with him with the Darksaber are this and the Glavis Ringworld one, which I am still looking for that one, by the way.
It's the same mold, just so you know, but I know you just need the box.
I'm a completionist, and I got to complete all these lines, so I'm working on finishing my Book of Boba Fett one right now. As a matter of fact,
nice,
because that is another one that I just got as well. If I can pull this out right here, excuse me, quick. Right, so
I also love this figure.
This is the other one I got. So this was also in the shipper. So this is the Tusken Chieftain from the Book of Boba Fett. I was really excited to get this because they had the same Tusken action figures out for years now, where it was just the basic tan robes, kind of like the ones you've seen from A New Hope, and nothing crazy. This one's really awesome because it's got the darker robes, it's got the jewelry across the neck, and the very different gaffy stick, honestly. So I was really excited about this. Personally, I can't wait to get both of these things up on my wall. For those of you who are interested in what my collection looked like, you can check that out on at the underscore Dadalorian underscore on Instagram. It's one of my like top pinned videos there where you kind of see like what my big collection room looks like and everything like that. So I was pretty stoked with that.
They're both great, and I gotta say, if you ever get a chance or you decide to, a little extra pocket change, buy one of those Mandos to open. Totally new body mold, super posable. It's a figure that like I was like, oh, I have a lot of Mandos, but I like to get everything. And when I opened it, I was like, immediately took a badass photo. Like I was like, this toy is so cool. I even got.
I remember when you sent that to me, you were so excited.
Yeah, and I even bought him a wired cape. What it was kind of like a cloaky cape.
Yes,
a wired cape so that like I can make more dynamic poses with him because like I'm never going to sell my toys, so ripping that cape off didn't bother me. And also the Tusken Chieftain is awesome, and I think they just pipelined the Warrior Woman, the Tusken Warrior Woman.
I'm excited about that one.
That was the one I would have been more excited about. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But again, he's a new mold, the Chieftain. There's a lot of new parts to him, so it makes him a lot more fun than those Tuskens. And I didn't have to buy the doubles because I'm not a completest. So you needed those packages.
I am. And let me say big shout out to Hasbro and our guy Steve Evans for doing a great job on all these new ones coming out because they're looking great so far, man.
Already feel the impact for sure.
So, also, so I got one more thing that I didn't get it this week, but it's going to be coming in, and I'm actually super stoked about this. So earlier, I think it was a couple weeks ago, I entered this contest on Instagram. So for those of you who don't know, there's a lot of saber companies on Instagram that will hold these contests where they do giveaways where you can get free lightsabers. And guess what the hell I got, dude? So I won a free lightsaber. It's from this great company called CC Sabers. You can find them on Instagram at CC Sabers _official. I won this one. It's called the DualStrike Lightsaber. So it's a double-bladed one that splits apart in the middle as well. So I'm going to get some really great saber spinning videos in with that thing. So I cannot wait for that, honestly. So
Please don't break your nose.
but you know what? It's not out of the question. It might happen. I might have smashed my face once or twice already, but honestly, guys, I recommend you go check them out. They're a really great company. I've got a couple friends who are really big into sabers, and they're like, "Oh yeah, CC's is some of the best there is out there." Like I said, you can find them at ccsabers_official on Instagram, or you can check out their website, www.ccsabers.com. They got a lot of great options, and they're also very affordable options at that. So now, Matty, I think that does it for us today, brother.
That does it. Plenty to talk about, and plenty was spoken.
Absolutely. So we had a lot of great stuff. Covered the Bad Batch, covered Tales of the Empire, and we got our collection corner in. So, and we both got some really great new toys in.
Yeah, this was a fun one.
This was a good one, man. So, but Matty Ice, per usual, I love you, brother, but we both got to get out of here. So why don't you go ahead? Too. And why don't you sign us off?
All I'll say is, I have spoken.
And this is the way.
I think